What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to another live stream, you guys. Happy Saturday. I hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are having a great day so far. Shout out to everybody in the building. Listen, as you come into the building, make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Hit the like button as you come to the building. Also, if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It is free to subscribe. Also, share and like the content and turn on your notification bell to be notified when I upload new content or go live. So what's going on, y'all? I hope y'all are doing well. Thank y'all so much for being here once again. Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. One in the chat if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. So listen, we back with a little bit of this topic. Listen, I am not going to harp on this. I've created some videos for my channel on what's going on in social media and in the world. So make sure you guys are tuned into the videos that I'm posting, because I will be posting a video on this whole boycott, African business boycott situation. That video should be coming out a little later today. So make sure you guys check that out and give your 2 cents on it. But I'm not going to harp on it, but I have to, give what's going on to you guys as much as I possibly can. Because trust me, I am not in the loop of everything that's happening because I got my own life and my own world. But when I see stuff like this, I have an opinion and I want to get your thoughts on it as well. We kind of delve into this in a previous live, and there was a lot of different opinions, and everybody's opinion is definitely valid. In my opinion, I think everybody should have something to say, because I think if you're always silent and you're quiet about things, you just let whatever happens. You don't have an opinion or say, or you don't have anything to say. Sometimes I think that's not going to solve an issue. I think you have to be vocal about your opinions and about what you think, so that we can hopefully change the narrative or do something. So there are several videos on social media. I didn't catch them all, of Africans, saying, giving their opinions and their thoughts about Black Americans. And it's never really a positive one from what I've seen. They're speaking out about our culture or the lack thereof. I seen a video of an African guy saying we don't have any culture. And what is it? Is it the baby mama culture? All of the negative stereotypes about Black Americans. Now, I will say this, because I think that is part of the problem. I think that in our society, in our culture, there are a lot of issues. We have issues and we speak about it. I talk about them, the nature of our women and how we think and how we don't come together as Black women and men. That is an issue in our communities. We can't ignore it. And we have, that's why it's important for us to work on it, because when it comes to immigrants or anybody else outside of our community, they're going to use that against us. But the trick part about it is they speak from an entitled position, in my opinion, as if they don't have issues within their own cultures. See, the thing about it is, what people try to do is relegate you to your culture and your issues. And it makes sense, because we're the ones who live within our culture, were raised a certain way, experience certain things within our culture. So we should be the ones to be able to speak on it and make the necessary changes. So as a Black woman, an American Black woman, I speak on American Black women in our culture, women I was raised by, women I grew up with, women who perpetuate a certain narrative that is negative to the culture. And so I think that we should learn and do things to help it become better. But when it comes to others outside of that culture who had a different cultural experience, they're going to use the negative parts and aspects of our culture against us. But I think people tend to forget that they have issues too. Your culture is not squeaky clean. You got issues too. Some of the same issues we experience, maybe in a different way. Y'all are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. Everybody got issues. This is why I say, look, you got to focus on your own issues. And I think this issue, or is it really an issue? Well, I'll just say a social media thing at this point, where we're seeing more of this topic coming up. I want to play a little bit from Philip Scott, of what he said about it. I'll try to put the full link to his video in the description. And also, of course, O'Shea spoke on it and others are speaking on it as well. And they're giving their opinions. But, you know, I just think this is why when it comes to Black Americans, as far as the ones who kind of, spread the negative aspects of our culture, this is why that is so dangerous. And this is why I think that is, not doing doing us, a solid. It's not doing anything good for us because that's the very things that people will point out. They don't focus on the great aspects. The same way when we talk about men in our culture, the focus is always on Pookie and Ray Ray. It's never on the men who are doing well for themselves. It's never on the married men in relationships and have wives and doing well. It's always on the ones who are doing the worst. But that is being looked at as if that's the, representation of all Black men. And the same thing with Black people. The negative aspects of it is looked at as a general rule as to how all of us are, and that's just not the truth. So I think a lot of this for real, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I think a lot of the energies that we're seeing from Africans, and then this issue going back and forth with Black Americans, FBAs. I just think it is misplaced energy. I really do. I really think it's misplaced energy. It's like, but is that new? Everybody, and I saw this lady. She posted a video where she's saying how everyone tends to come at Black Americans. Like we're the ones to go to for all your frustrations and all your issues when we're really not your problem. So I want to know y'all thoughts on that. Please chime in the comments. Make sure you're hitting the like button, y'all. Make sure you're chiming in. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can support the channel via Cash App or super chat. Make sure you are super chatting if you want your questions to be read. That definitely helps the channel out, you guys. All I ask is at least a minimum $5 super chat to support the channel. I know you guys could do that. That is not a lot at all. So that's all I ask to support the channel. Also, make sure you hit the like button. The like button definitely helps to help the channel as well. So I make sure you're doing that. Let me play this clip so we can get a little bit of clarity on it. And then I'm going to move on. I don't want to harp on this because I do think this is causing a bigger divide between a group of people where that it shouldn't be. We have bigger fish to fry. We have things we need to be working on to try to build ourselves up even more. This is just a distraction, in my opinion. But I think we need to know what's going on. And also, too, and I mentioned before, is this ripping a Band-Aid off a issue that's always been there? I've seen videos of different people who, look like us, but don't claim to be us. There are a lot of people, Africans, what's the other people, I can't even remember, Lord. But there are people who look like us, Dominicans, they look like us, but they don't claim us. Me no Black, right? And I've seen several videos of that, and I have one coming out. Trust me, I have some videos that I've already scheduled to come out speaking on these issues. There are a lot of people who look like us but do not claim to be Black. They hate to be considered Black. But at the same time, when Black Americans distinguish themselves or delineate themselves from them, why is that a problem? That seems to be a problem when we say, "Oh, we're not Africans. We're American Black. We're not from Africa." Somehow that's an issue. But they could say they're not Black, they're Africans. And then even when now the census is changing it, some people still have a problem with it. I don't understand. But, in many cases, we all look alike and probably experience some of the same issues in this country as being Black people. A lot of times people don't want to be associated with Black because they think it's bad. But, it's a lot going on, child. And it's just, look, it's too much for one video. It's a lot. What's going on, Nathaniel? Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. Caribbeans and FBAs are also the same people. The boat just landed in different places. Right. Dominicans are Black, landed in different places. Right. But a lot of them don't consider themselves Black. I mean, and it is mind-boggling to me. But the more I delve into this and I watch some videos of them saying they're not Black, okay. I mean, I'm just saying, FBAs didn't come from Africa. We are different. African people think FBA are not doctors and lawyers. I'm so glad FBA delineating from them love. Yeah, it's a lot of, I think a lot of miscommunication, a lot of just ignorance in all of this. But listen, it is what it is. Zenith, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. But let's get into this particular video I want to play for you guys, and definitely chime in. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
So she's encouraging that we do an August 1st protest all through the month of August. I think it should continue throughout for the rest of the year, right? Let them really feel the heat, okay? Because they are confused about who they are, who we are, and what this is all about, right? They're so busy licking boots, they don't seem to want to give us our respect. They need a wake-up call, right? Because clearly they don't understand that the large majority of why you are even in the space that you're in is because of us, and that our dollars are the ones that pay your bills.
Now, the other night,
now, before he get into what he's saying, this first lady, and I did a video about in more in detail of her, she's talking about African businesses. She's saying how they disrespect them and they're tired of it. And that's a American Black woman. That's an FBA who's speaking. She's referring to this boycott that these women are putting together to boycott African businesses, their restaurants, braiding salons, those types of things. Now, it is not illegal to boycott certain things. That is just, that's something that is legal to do. You can decide to do it. I mean, Black people just did it not too long ago from Target. I don't know the estimate of how much money Target lost, but it was a lot. So they decided that they were going to boycott Target, and they did it, and Target was begging for them to come back and shop. So I would tell anyone to not underestimate the power of the Black dollar. I'm just saying, because it carries a lot of weight, and so people noticed that. They noticed that when they did that boycott and decided not to shop at Target, Target lost a whole lot of money. So now this woman, and I guess her and some others, are saying on August 1st, they're going to target African businesses, African braiding salons, just African businesses in general. Now, for whatever reason, they prompted to do that. That's their business. I don't really patronize African businesses. I just don't. I like I said, I went to the African braiding salon years ago. It was not a great experience, and I never went back. But other than that, I just don't pay. There's tons of other places, to patronize and go to. So I've never really had an in-depth experience with that. But that's what she's doing. Now, this woman is going to respond to her, and that's what I want to play. And shout out to Philip Scott. I'm going to try to put the link to his full video in the description, but listen to what he had to say. Here we go.
I was speaking about the boycott that some people were suggesting on TikTok, boycotting African businesses. Of course, that's still being talked about on that platform. And you have this African immigrant that's responding to some of that. But now she wants to take it much further than people saying, okay, well, I'm not going to patronize a business. She wants to take it to a place that, number one, would be illegal in the United States. But it's also something she said that really caught my attention as well about her homeland. But let's go ahead and check that out.
If only this reached the consensus of all African and Caribbeans, everybody from Jamaica, Trinidad, Haiti, and Africa, if this meet your consent, since the Black American want to go to war, let's try, let's see. All of us, let's call out one day from work.
Now, what do y'all agree that Black Americans are trying to go to war with Africans? Let me know in the comments, yes or no. I don't see that. I don't see most Americans trying to go to war with anyone. The last time I checked, I don't see a bunch of Black Americans out here starting shit with people, to be honest. I don't see it. Let me know if you see it though, because I'm here to listen. I don't see Black Americans out here trying to go with war with anybody. Everybody's just trying to make a living and work and live their lives. And yes, you can have opinions about certain things. You could not like certain things, and you have an opinion about it. And if you want to make changes to something that's just not right, you certainly can. That's the great thing about this country, and why a lot of people want to come here, is because there are certain liberties that we have that you can't get in other countries. So this is why part of the reason why a lot of people like to come here, because there are certain things you can do here that you can do nowhere anywhere else. So as Americans in general, yeah, if you're patronizing an establishment, or you're somewhere and you're being mistreated, or your rights are being taken advantage of, or whatever, you have the right to speak up about it, say something about it. There are things that are put in place for you to take action. This is not like, other countries where you don't have a say and you can't do anything. So I think we got to keep that in mind, and just because a person has an opinion that you don't agree with doesn't mean that you can, that you can use that or exploit that, or think that you can do something to them because of their opinion. That's the freedom of this country. You can have an opinion. We can go on podcasts and we can talk about things and have an opinion. Freedom of speech. And even though people don't like it, there's nothing you can really do about it, as long it's your right to have a freedom of speech to a certain degree, I will say. Fareed, thank you for the super chat. Says, in high school, Americans call me African booty scratcher. Wow. That's funny. Are you, maybe you're older. I've never heard that. But, when I was growing up, there weren't, and I'm not going to minimize your experience, because like I said, I didn't have that. I didn't have Africans in my school. It was just all of us. I didn't grow up with that. So I've heard that, though, as an adult. I've never heard it as a child, though, but I have heard it as an adult. He said he was called African booty scratcher child. Girls laughed till the point I couldn't get no box. Man, this is where I am hurt since then. Well, I'm sorry for your experience, but you got to let that go, boo. I mean, just like I watched, and I know that's probably hard, but if in high school, hell, I was teased in high school, but I'm not holding on to it. I was teased in high school too. I was, teased. Okay. So, and picked on and everything. But you think I'm holding on to that as a 40 something, almost 50-year-old woman? You think I'm still holding on to somebody teasing me being teased in high school? I'm a grown ass woman. The same way I watched a video of, this video was on Jubilee, and they did an excellent discussion where they had Africans and American Blacks on there. And I think they did a beautiful job in that particular video of them discussing their issues and what, the differences and the similarities are between everybody. I think they did a good job where it was cordial. Nobody was acting a fool and getting mad at each other. I think they did a good job on that. And what was my point? I was trying to make a point, but I think they did it in a way that kind of, made people understand the other side, and it was no chaos and things of that nature. I forgot. I was trying to make a point, y'all, and I just straight forgot it, y'all. Baby, I need to take some memory pills or something, because I forget my point so quickly. But yeah, a lot of us have been through being teased and called names in high school. Everybody pretty much mostly have been teased for the most part. Maybe not everybody, but the majority of us have been teased. That's a part of growing up, I guess. But it is not something I would hold on to. Oh, I think my point was, in that particular video, the African guy was telling the other ones that, hey, they think that Americans, we hold on to racism and the things that we've experienced in this country and had to deal with. We should just let it go. And then the other guy was saying, no, it's not that simple. And because, it's two different worlds, one don't understand the other, and they don't understand how that still how racism and all of that could still affect you in current society. But at the same time, the African guy was talking about how he was treated poorly by the police, because, when they see you, they see your skin color. And that's the same thing with all of us, whether you identify as African, American, whatever, your skin color is the same. And until you open your mouth and they hear a different accent, they don't care. They still look at you as, associated with something bad. So he was talking about how he was abused by the police. and he'll never forget that. And of course you shouldn't, that's your experience. But you know, as much as there are cultural differences, we still considered Black in the eyes of non-Black people. So when it comes to how you're treated by the police or anybody else who may have racial or racist tendencies, it's all going to be the same. You know, they look at you as, and he was speaking on how he looked, you know, basically they're saying he looked like a thug, and he was like, what? And I'm like, so what? And my thing is, what is it? And he was like, they don't even ask something key. He said they didn't even ask where he's from. I'm like, okay, what would be the difference? They don't care where you're from. They just see your skin color. And we all look alike when it comes to skin color. And then he said, they need to ask where we're from and not just assume. So that made me think, oh, so if he said he's like, if he says he's not Black American, but he's from Africa or somewhere over there or one of those countries, then is that supposed to make a difference? Because somehow he's supposed to be different from Black American man versus an African American man. That's supposed to make a difference, as if there aren't African criminals or there aren't African gang members and things of that nature. It is a different mindset, I notice. You know, it's almost as if, oh, I'm not Black, I'm African, so treat me different because I'm not the typical African American criminal, as if all Black Americans are criminals. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if y'all get what I'm saying. That this is from, and watch, it's a Jubilee. I might have to put the link to that too, so y'all could check it out, because I thought it was very good. But there is a different mindset I noticed between American Blacks and African Blacks, because the experience is not quite the same. So there would be a difference of an opinion from your experience versus the experiences here. But that's where I think there needs to be a some type of communication, because I don't, all of this doesn't make any sense to me. But it does in a sense, and I'm just like, but it's unnecessary in a way. I don't think that this should be our fight. I'm just saying. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. I want to read the other super chats before I forget. Zenith, thank you so much for the super chats. Do you think a country can be truly perfect? Hell no. Nobody is perfect. No, nothing is completely perfect. You got to have ebbs and flows. You got to have the good with the bad. It's just how you manage it, how you deal with it. That's with anything. Nothing is ever going to be, because there aren't perfect. As long as you have individuals who are designed not to be perfect, but we have to learn conflict resolution. We have to learn certain things that we can better deal with issues. That's with everything. Everything, we have to learn how to fix and solve issues, mitigate problems, lessen the issues that are occurring, but it's not like they're not going to exist. Thank you, Zenith. I appreciate you for the super chat. So nothing is ever going to be perfect, but you can sure get it to a point where it's more, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Where it's more what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? I can't even think. Where you can resolve issues a lot better, and it's not getting to a point where it's super bad. You know what I mean? So everything has to have some type of resolution, some type of things put in place to make sure things don't get out of hand. But nothing's ever going to be perfect, because we're a bunch of imperfect people. C. Irving, thank you for the super chat. C. Irving says, I remember a bad experience getting my hair braided at an African salon a couple of years back. At the start, she told me one price. Then after an hour or so, as she was finishing my hair, she told me it's going to cost you more. I saw a video of a lady saying the same thing. And I mean, listen, thank you, C. Irvin, for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. There are lots of videos coming out now about these salons, and I mean, the experience in these salons, and it may not be all of them, but I'm seeing a lot of them, the way a lot of the businesses are very unprofessionally done. I mean, it looks like what you would consider in our community a ghetto hot mess. And I'm just saying, it's ghetto looking. They acting ghetto. They're not presenting themselves no different from what they speak about Black Americans. I mean, it looks like, they get to fighting in there. And I did a video of this lady actually talking about this and showing it, how they end up fighting. They fight in the salons. It just looks like a ghetto mess. So I don't know, this is why I say, listen, there shouldn't be any arguing back and forth, because we all got our issues within our communities. Every community has their issues. Nobody is walking around here, the perfect one to have all this to say about other communities. This is like people are saying now, for whatever reason. And I'll go back and say, seems like all this is stemming from the immigrants being deported. All of a sudden now, all of this is coming out. This is after these deportations. Seems like everybody started coming out against Black people. Like what did Black people do when we had nothing to do with y'all being deported and any of that? That ain't us. Like, you should be mad at the people who voted for that. Majority of all of these people who are all of the Latino and all these other people voted for that. Y'all should be mad at yourselves. You can't come out, because all of this seems to have stemmed from that. Before this, I didn't hear all this. We didn't hear all this. This guy in this video, he has multiple videos about immigrants and how they feel about FBAs, and O'Shea got several videos about it. Other people, I've seen so many videos about it on TikTok, on Instagram. It's like it's just all exposed. There are video of people saying they're not Black, but then they want support from Blacks. It's just a lot going on, y'all. Thank you, C. Irvin, once again. I appreciate you. Let's continue. Wait, hold on. Let me read this last super chat. C. Irvin, thank you once again, says, I said, how much more? She said, how much money do you have? What? That's not how you run business. I paid what we agreed on and I left. It was a horrible experience. Her mindset was awful. That, I don't know how that, that's great. Listen, see, Irvin, that's what I'm seeing, a lot of people coming out and talking about their experience with all of this. But it's crazy, y'all, and once again, listen, I don't care what color you are, where you're from. I don't care. You could be Black, brown, green, blue, I don't care where you're from. If you have a poor service and you have a poor business, you have a poor business. I'm not going to patronize any business that's poor. And no, I don't care. See, I don't care about race and all of that. I care about if you got a business and you selling something and you're saying that this much, I expect you to do your job and do what you said you would do. Business is business, so if I go to a braiding salon, I don't care who you are. If you do a good job, I'm going to praise it. I'm gonna be like, oh man, I went there. It was amazing. I had a good experience. Despite what everybody else is saying, I can't judge my experience on somebody else. If I go somewhere and I get good service, I'm going to point it out. The service was great. Oh my God, they did a good job. If you did a piss poor job and I paid my money and I had issues, and I'm going to say that too. And I think a lot of times people want you to be quiet when the experience is bad. They just want you to shut up. And if you say something, oh my God, you're the problem. No, you're the problem. If you got a service and you're not professional and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're the problem. And people have a right to speak out about it because they're paying their money for it, And so either way, if I got a good experience, it was great service. Oh, I love talking about great service and give good reviews and things of that nature. If it was piss poor, then I'm going to give a piss poor. I'm going to tell you exactly what it was. That's it. You can get mad about it, but if you mad about it, that means you need to get up your business. You need to get your stuff together. You can't go into business and think you can just treat people any old kind of way and do anything you want. That's not how they go. And people are not going to respond. People have lost their businesses because of that. And in this country, what's so great about it is if people hear about your business and people start to talk about it and they start to boycott and they start to write bad reviews, you will lose services. You will lose business. Oh my God. I've seen it happen on multiple occasions. People have had to close down their businesses for bad reviews because nobody was going there. I mean, they would do something crazy. The next day they have no customers. So you really got to tread lightly if you think that what can be done in this country when it comes to horrible service and business, that it won't affect your business. You better got another thing coming because it will definitely hurt. It really would. Thank you, C. Irvin. Once again, I appreciate you. Let's continue.
All of us across the United States, all immigrants call out from work. Yes. If they want to go to war, let's see what they can prove. And also, all immigrants, like your businesses from all Black Americans, simple as that. Don't let them go into your grocery store. Don't let them go into your restaurant. Don't let them go into your salon. You want to go to war? We will. And also, we can ask all our African doctors, boycott all Black American treatment. Like I said, you don't want to go to war with African.
Ma'am, do you know that that is against the law? Do you know that that is against the law? Do you know that you could lose your practice for even saying that? Do you know that that would be considered discrimination? Huh? And I'm not trying to be mean, but do y'all answer me, because maybe I'm off. Listen, I'm willing to learn. Do you really think that Africans in this country have that amount of clout? Do you think that they outnumber Black Americans in this country? Because you don't. Do you think that you have enough clout to say that if the Africans in this country don't go to work, that it's gonna make a huge impact? What do y'all think? Let me know, because maybe I'm missing something. But I just don't think that that is a road that you would want to travel. Like I said, I've been here damn near 50 years, and I've never been to an African restaurant. Never. I went to an African hair salon once, and most of the people that I know don't patronize African businesses. They just don't. There's enough businesses for them to patronize. So it's not like the majority of us is going to these places. I don't know if that's a delusional thing or what. I don't know. All of the Black people I know, they don't go to African restaurants, and only it's the women that would go to, that go to the African braiding salons. But most Black Americans don't patronize African businesses in high numbers. Am I tripping or what? Let me know, because I could be. I could be tripping. Most people I know have never patronized African businesses. It's not even, I don't eat African food. And my whole family and relatives, they don't eat African food. And I'm not saying, hey, I would like to try it. Maybe. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, I personally don't think that what she's advocating for will make a huge dent. I'm just saying, I don't believe so. I've never been to Africa, would like to visit. Always wanted to visit. Seemed like a great place to visit, just to, what they would call the motherland. I would love to go. No problem. And see, me saying this, it's not a diss, it's not a hate, it's just the actuality. And so I don't know. I just don't think that that's going to make the impact she may think it might. I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to hurt Black Americans or much of anybody. I'm just saying. Doug Diagnostics says, why are they here? I mean, I'm saying, that's a good question. If I don't, because it's a benefit. It's a benefit to be here. We all know that. It's a benefit to be here. But when they're here, it's like it's something else, Thank you, Doug. I appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know. Zookeeper, thank you for the super chat. Says notify FBI. What she said can be considered as intentional terrorist threatening. Jail time. I know. I don't think she realized that, though. Thank you, Zookeeper. I appreciate you. I don't think she realized that. I don't think she realized what she's saying. That could definitely be taken as a threat, and that could cause harm to her. That is illegal. You can't tell medical professionals to not treat individuals. That could straight be considered illegal practices or threatening practices, right? But I don't think this is what I'm saying. This is not Africa. You can't, you know what I mean? Just say things like that. I don't think they realize that. Thank you, Zookeeper. I appreciate you. Let's continue.
Trust me. We are 54 freaking country. The population of African in the United States is more than your Black American population.
That is untrue. That is false. Do y'all? That is so not true. They do not outnumber Black Americans. I don't know who told her that. They do not. African immigrants do not outnumber Black Americans. There are a small percentage of them here compared to Black Americans. And even within immigrants themselves, it still does not outnumber Black Americans. There's still a small percent. I mean, like legal immigrants is still not as many as Black Americans in this country. And even African immigrants themselves are not the highest population amongst immigrants. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Asians. I think Asians outnumber them. They're not even the majority of the legal immigrants in this country either. So how do they, and all of them together still don't legal ones do not outnumber us. So where did she get that number from? I'm just saying. That is not true. They do not outnumber Black Americans. They don't. And you can look it up. Johnny Harris says, DeeDee, we are different. We are Shemites. I hope I'm saying that. Africans are Hamites. I hope I'm saying that right. We are royal blood. We are all of Adam, but we are special into the Most High. They know nothing about America, Negro history, or law. I'm Johnny. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. I'm starting to realize that they don't. And I've seen several of Africans speak on this. Ones who were being honest about it were saying that they didn't even know about the history of this country. They don't really know about the history of this country. They're just going off of hearsay or what they think or whatever. But a lot of them are not educated on what really happened here and what Black Americans have gone through. A lot of them are not educated in that. I'm finding that out. So I think what you're saying is absolutely true. And so, yeah, and I think this is why it shouldn't, they maybe get more information or insight. This is why communication is key. That way people can, can learn something before they just start taking on this idea, their own ideas and running with it, So yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you for the super chat, Johnny. I appreciate your support and thank you so much for being here. Yeah, this is crazy. Let's continue, y'all.
Just so you know, that's the reason why 64% of the Democratic vote is immigrant. And out of that 64, 54 is Black. So Black America, you don't want to go to war with us. At this point, I don't care if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican, because the stupid Black Republicans that are being controlled by the white tea brought this up. And it seems to be that some of you on the Democratic Party side are also getting along. So you want to pick that fight? We can do so. Yeah, we can ask our 54% vote to boycott the coming elections. Oh, yes, I can guarantee you.
Boycott what? I don't understand. What? Boycott the election? Huh? Huh? What?
What? I don't get it.
I don't get it. What? Boycott the elections? Okay, let's continue.
When we boycott it, you will have no seat.
What?
Don't play with us.
What the?
We are calm.
What the hell is she talking about?
We don't intend to insult nobody. We don't look down on anybody. You went through pain. We went through pain. Yes, you went through slavery. We went through slavery in our own house. But why
not? But see, and I don't listen. And I don't claim to know a whole lot about all of this, because I really mind my business, honestly. But I'm happy to have a platform to give my little 2 cents. we had slavery in this country, but we fought against it, right? Civil rights. You know what I'm saying? Black people fought against it, you know, and that has gotten us to where we are now, where we, you know what I'm saying? Jim Crow, all of the history of slavery, the history of racism, civil rights movement, Jim Crow, all of the stuff that happened in this country, we fought against it. And once again, and I will say this, and we're still in our country, you know, still fighting over certain racial biases or segregation and things of that nature. We're in our country from whence we came from, and we're still fighting whatever issues may arise. We fought for it, and we got past it for the most part, and we're here. If you come from a country and y'all had slavery and all that things, but why aren't you in your country where y'all are still fighting for it so y'all can better y'all situation over there? How is it fair to come at FBAs when they're in a country that they fought for their civil rights? You come from a country that had similar issues, as if she's saying, but you guys leave and come here for a better life and benefit off the things that Black Americans have fought for. You know, FBAs built this country and fought for the rights that we have and that a lot of immigrants come over and benefit from. So why is there an issue with us when you benefit because of us? And this notion that, as Africans, you're going to come in our country and you're going to start saying you want a war with us. Well, you're not going to win that. It ain't going to even go nowhere. Because you can't really incite a war from a country you're not from. How do you expect to do that? You're not gonna, because it's not, because and I'm just saying, and I'm not even being mean, as an immigrant in this country, you're talking about Black Americans, but it's not going to be just a war if you think that that's what it's going to be just with Black Americans. If you start doing things, remember, we're here as Black Americans, but Americans in general will push back on what you're trying to do. That means Black Americans, white Americans, just Americans in general, in my opinion. When you think that you're going to try to come up against, we're just coming up against Black Americans, means you're just coming up against Americans, in my opinion. I'm just saying, y'all, let me know what y'all think. Because you're going to go protest, what she said, protest the votes or what that don't deal with just us. That deals with Americans in general. And this is the part I don't think that they understand. It's different from y'all country. This is not Africa. I don't know how things are in Africa, but they're not, I'm pretty sure they're not the same versus here. So I don't know. They come over with that African mindset thinking that no, I don't think that that's going to work out, but let's continue.
Decided in Africa that we're going to put the past behind. We're going to fight for a better Africa.
Now, first of all, okay. All right. This woman here, no one has ever talked like her, talking about going to war. Okay. The people who are saying this about they don't want to deal with African businesses or restaurants, what they're saying is they're not going to just patronize it, right? There's no war. They just say it's not going to patronize it. At the end of the day, whether I agree with that or not, it's their money, their choice. That's any of us. Your money, your choice. I'm not getting no more in the weeds with that. But let's talk about what you're saying. Now you escalating it and talking about war. Ma'am, you would not be talking about war with Black Americans. Let's keep it at 100. If you got that much of an issue, then, ma'am, you talked about fighting for Africa. You can't fight for Africa here.
Bam. That's what I'm saying. Like that don't make no sense. That's what I'm saying. Like what? Zenith, thank you for the super chat, says there are over 50 countries in Africa, yet they are so worried about what is going on here, child. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand it. I'm trying to have an open mind and understand, but I just don't get it. Thank you, Zenith. I appreciate you. Zandra Howard, thank you for the super chat, says when first world minds collide with third world minds, this is what we get. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you so much for being here. Yeah, this is crazy, y'all. I don't know. Let's continue.
Sorry, you fled here. If you're gonna fight for Africa, you gotta be in Africa. Every person fighting for Africa live there. They're there with all the issues, concerns, problems. They fighting through it because they're fighting for Africa. So
Right.
you can't mention about fighting for Africa at all. Okay,
Right.
I don't even want to hear that out your mouth. That's number one. Number two, maybe in your country they don't have these laws, but we have anti-discrimination laws. No one can be targeted based on their race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, religion, disability status. No, nobody. You can't discriminate. Basically, you can't discriminate with having a public and open business. You just can't. If you do that, then lawsuits can be filed against you to the point that you would be out of business. You're instructing African doctors that may have patients that are FBA. You're instructing them to reject them or whatever the case may be. That doctor can also get in trouble for being discriminatory. If they do certain things against the state with that, they can lose their medical license. And you're not going to go pay those doctors a dime for all the hard work they did in residency and school and coming over here as an immigrant. You're not going to pay for them to do anything. So I think that was really dumb. Are they a nurse or whatever? Why would somebody risk their license for you?
Yeah, I thought that was weird, honestly. And, I don't know. I listen to what everybody has to say. I listen to everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? I really don't discriminate. I try to get an understanding of what people are saying. But if something doesn't make sense to me, then, I give my 2 cents on it, which we are inclined to give our thoughts and opinions on things. We don't always have to agree, but if something just doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And once again, I just believe that a lot of all of this type of rhetoric has stemmed from these deportations, because before Trump decided that this was, he already said he was going to do this. Before he actually started implementing all this, we didn't hear all of these videos. It's like everything just became chaotic after that. You know what I'm saying? It just became chaotic. It started with, the Latinos and all these immigrant people start asking, where are the Black people? Why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you helping us? Because if not, you're next. And then from that point on, when Black people start saying we're next, child, we've always been the target, and we fought back, and nobody was coming to our defense. We had to fight. We had to fight and put laws in place to stop segregation and racism and all these things that, have been happening in this country for years. So this is not our fight. When they started saying that, oh my God, I think that's when all this started. Well, you guys, you should be doing this, and you should be doing that. We shouldn't be doing shit. But what we've been doing, minding our business when it matters. Because look, and I said this before, as long as Black men were being shot in the streets by the police for just being Black, I didn't hear all these people. I didn't hear the Africans out here saying, oh, that's wrong. Why are you doing that? Don't do this to our Black brothers and this and that. I didn't hear a bunch of people out here protesting for, discrimination and all this hatred and this killing the Black men in the street. I didn't see in droves all of these people coming out saying that. No, everybody was quiet. You had Black people out there protesting, but the majority of them, I didn't see all these videos being made of, in the defense of Black men and Black Americans and the atrocities and all of these injustices. I didn't see them making all these videos saying that this is a shame. Now, maybe there were some, but I didn't see as many. I didn't see all these different people coming out saying this is wrong for Black people. It's probably a very few in number who actually had something to say, but it wasn't to this degree. They weren't defending us as Black Americans. Everybody is quiet because everybody wants to assimilate to white culture. Everybody wants to be white. Everybody wants to side with the white man when it comes to things that are being done to Black Americans. But then when now the table is flipped. Now they're coming for them. Now you mad because we not saying nothing? Come on. They think Black people are stupid, because a lot of times Black people come to the defense of everybody else. But Black people always come into the defense of people even when they shouldn't. And I think they're used to that. They're used to that. And then when we're quiet, it's like, why y'all not speaking up and helping us? But y'all, if the tables were reversed, you wouldn't be helping us. So Doug's Diagnostics is, again, thank you for the super chat. Says, we own this country. Example, Larry Graham invented bass guitar thumbing. Y'all put in the chat more to remind these Africans who's the culture king. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate you once again. Johnny Harris says, FBA ladies invented rock and roll and electric guitar. Thank you for that. Oh my God. Thank y'all so much for the super chat, Johnny. I appreciate you for being here and for that commentary. I just, it's just, I think a lot of this is a way to divide us all further. I don't even think this should be an issue between Africans and Americans. I don't think it should be, and Black Americans. I don't think it should be even an issue. You would think that because we should be more closer and have a better relationship amongst anybody else. But why? So this is why I say this just may be designed to be to set up a divide on purpose, because I don't even understand why there should be any issue. But there is, the gamma effect says we already divided. Child, it's just a hot mess. And every time I see it, this is why I bring it up. This is definitely like something I really want to be talking about, but I think it's something that should be addressed, because it's constant. We constantly seeing more and more and more of it. And it's just becoming more and more prevalent, Irving Hunt, thank you once again for the super chat. Says, just more proof that those that come here are taught FBA or some type less than, and they treat us as such. We can spend our money anywhere we want to. Ask the others to support your businesses. Listen, I 100% agree with you, Irvin. Yeah. And listen, there is also proof that is the case, that immigrants who come into this country are specifically told not to go around the Blacks. Now, the Africans have said this themselves. The ones who aren't afraid to tell the truth have said it. There are plenty of videos of them telling that, saying that their parents told them, when you go to America, stay away from the Blacks. You don't want to go around them. Go by the whites. Try to hang with don't go near the Blacks because they're this and they're that. They're taught that. So like I said before, most of us born in this country are not taught to hate anybody. We're not sat down as a child and say, now, don't you go over there to those people, or don't you go over there to these. I need you to assemble to here. Most of us were not taught that. For the most part, and I know some people say we talked about this in the previous live. Thank you, Irvin. Once again, I appreciate you. Zenith says some music genres stem from Black culture. Thank you once again, Zenith. I appreciate you. I said this in a previous live when we was talking about this, how thank you, that boy Cameron, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we had this conversation where they were telling me, hey, they had that experience where, the African, like the guy said in the super chat, that the Africans were called African booty scratching. I've never had that experience. And and I know some have, but I'm saying the overarching thing, let me know if y'all agree or not. And if this was the case for you, because I know growing up and for many others, we weren't sat down and had a conversation. Oh, to be, and especially when it comes to Africans, because we felt like, hey, that's our lineage, we all come from Africa. That's how we felt. Nobody was, for the most part, did your mother and your fathers or your family sit down and let me know in the comments and tell you, oh, don't talk to Africans? It was never a discussion in our household, ever. In my family's household, nobody, aunties and uncle, nobody ever even addressed Africans. We just like, we Black. We never had a conversation and sat down and told us, don't go near Africans, don't go near Asians, don't mess with the Latinos. First of all, because where I grew up, that wasn't even a part of we had Black and white. We really didn't have a community when I was growing up of Asians. It was a small, small, small community. And we didn't come across, well, I didn't in my community, and most of us growing up did not have that experience. So maybe it was different then. We didn't have a whole culture of Indians, and it's always been a small little culture of them, and they've always been put in a certain area. So we didn't even really, and it was like maybe one Indian person or maybe one Asian person or Latin one, like that might works with us somewhere. But for the most part, it's been Black and white people. This is why I say for FBAs and who've been, older than, 40, the experience was different because we didn't have all of these immigrants in the country like it is now. It wasn't as prevalent. And I guess maybe it depends on where you live. Y'all know I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. Now New Orleans have more Latinos and things of that nature. But when I was growing up, it was a small group of them in a certain spot. I worked with Black people and white people for the most part. It was not all these different races of people for me. And we weren't sat down and there was never a conversation about, oh, you don't hang around them or you don't hang around them and this and that. It was never that conversation. So, but to hear that other people, immigrants coming here, their families have sat down and had a conversation with them and told them, oh, Black people are just horrible. Don't go near them. You don't want to date them. You don't want to be around them. Assemble to the whites. That's where you need to be. They've literally came out and said that that's what they were taught. So that's how they operate. So us knowing that, how do you think we're supposed to respond? Do you think we're supposed to be, respond in open arms? And I mean, it's not about hating. You don't hate anybody. You shouldn't hate anybody. But it's about the response. You can still have a response to something without it being hatred. But it's just you realize the difference in culture and what some people have been taught. Like we talk about racism, it's no different. How, some white people have that you teach racism. These young kids don't come into the world with that. You have to teach it to them. You teach them, oh, don't, that Black people are bad. You can't trust them, this and that and a third. Once again, Black people have always, in my opinion, open to everyone. For the most part, we didn't grow up with this hatred in our hearts for anybody. This is why we are so easily ready to defend others when they're not ready to defend us, because they want us to defend them when they need us. But when we need them, nobody is there because truthfully, they're not taught to do that. It's like you want our help, but you're not willing to give it back because you were taught differently. We were taught that we weren't taught hatred. So we're ready to open our arms to most people. And this is how we get burned. And so that's just my experience. And it's the experience of a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can be open to others, but if they're not open to you, what can you do? You can show love, respect, and all that to others, but if they're taught not to like you, then your love and openness is not going to be received. So at some point, don't you think that's going to flip around? Don't you think at some point you're going to start looking at saying, well, damn, I'm trying to be nice, but I'm being met with criticism because of a stereotype or what I was taught to feel about these people. I was taught, look, there have been many white individuals who have openly come out as adults and said they were taught to be racist against not just Black people, but all, and that's another thing too. It's not just Black people. A lot of people were taught to be racist against any minorities. That's what I'm saying. If you African, if you're Haitian, any of that, if you're Latina, Indian, Asian, a lot of non-melanated people are taught to be racist against all these groups of people. It's not Black. That's why I say Black and white. There's an exclusive relationship between, but a lot of them were taught just that white is right and that's it, and they don't really care for anything other than that. So this is what was mind-boggling when you have these people of color who want to assimilate to whiteness, and I get it because they rule the world. So if you think that they're getting ahead and they're making things happen, I could understand why people want to assimilate because they want to get ahead. I get it. I mean, I'm not oblivious to why, but at the same time, you want to follow their lead, and a lot of times it don't work out the same for you because low key they don't really like you either. And that's the part I think they realize, but then when they realize it, it's like, oh, they get mad, and this is not all, just some. They get mad and turn the anger to us, like we did you something. We're not the ones, we're not the colonizers, we're not the people who did you dirty. We're just the ones that you're supposed to look at, and you got to have somebody to put the blame on. You got to have somebody to look down upon to make yourself feel better. And it's always Black people. Black people are the ones that everybody hate all across all over the world. Because that's what they've been taught. They've been taught that niggas are the ones to be treated back poorly. I watched a video of this I Show Speed or something, I think that's his name. This guy goes all to different countries, and everywhere he went, there was blatant racism. I think I saw this on I forgot the name of their show. Everywhere he went, it was blatant racism right in front of his face. Everywhere he went. A girl, Asian or whatever she was, walked up to him and told him she was racist. But she liked his girlfriend because the girlfriend is white. They throw monkeys at the boy. They brought him a little bush with cotton on it. I'm like, are you what? He ain't bothering nobody. He just doing his own thing and talking to the people, and they just walk up to him with the blatant racism. Like it's okay, like it's cool. So this is what these people are taught to hate Black people, but at the same time, you hate them, but you want to emulate them. You want to be like them. You like their culture. You like how they're innovative. You like their dance moves. You like their style of music. You like the culture. You like the music. You like the dress. You like their style. Everything about us, but you don't want to. You like what we offer, but you don't really like us because it's been ingrained in a lot of these individuals to hate us. You hate us because we're Black, but you like our culture and you emulate from clothing to hair to music. All of these countries love our music. You love our culture. They're trying to get afros in certain places. They're getting their hair done to look like Black people's hair. Our slang, which they talk about, slang is so bad and this and that, but everybody is copying it. You just listen to everybody across the world. They're talking like Black people. They're using the slang. They're using it. They're talking like Black people, even though slang is supposed to be bad and it's supposed to be ghetto, but they're all using it. They didn't create that. So we're innovative and creative, but we're bad at the same time. Don't go around them, but just jack their style. Jack their music, jack their dance moves. You like Chris Brown, he could dance, he could sing. Y'all know all the lyrics to all the R&B songs. You know, R&B is popular in other countries. Even the old R&B, they're still playing that music. Can't speak a lick of English, but you can sing those songs. You know word for word. You'll go to the concerts, but you can't really assimilate with Black people because they're bad. But oh my God, everything else about them is so good. And see, this is why I think it's important too for Black people, for our communities, because if the negative aspects of our community start to change, if the women and the men and everybody really pick up on what's happening and really start to make a change and do better, they really gonna have something to hate. Because as much as I want our women to get it together, and I want Black women and men to work together, because that's going to even just better us. If we can get rid of the divide within our own communities, there's no stopping us. But I think the powers that be know that. That's why this divisiveness was a plan and an agenda, in my opinion, because they know. They know what Black people were able to do, and they got rid of that, took away Black Wall Street and all of the things and how Black people were thriving. You took that away because you saw what the potential could have been. Just think about it, Black Wall Street and all the businesses that Black people did have before they burned it down, and every attempt they made to create these things before they just dismantled it over and over. If that was able to thrive, it wouldn't be the same talking points that Black people have, that people have about Black people. Oh, they don't own anything. Well, we did. the powers that be got rid of it and kept dismantling it because they knew that Black people could thrive without them. And they didn't want that. It was an agenda to hold you back and then say, oh, we're lazy, or we don't do this and do nothing. This is why I think when it comes to African people who have that conversation, that shouldn't be a conversation that you have, because you either don't know the history or you don't want to know, and you're just regurgitating talking points because you don't really, a lot of them don't really like Black Americans. That's just what it is. If you keep pushing a narrative without knowing the history, and you keep pushing that, you don't want to know the history, or you just don't know it, and you don't care to know it because you have a problem with them. Because common sense would say, hey, if I'm saying something and I don't know what I'm talking about, and then you try to tell me, hold on, let me tell you why this is, and you don't want to listen, you just want to be ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Sharada says, we called each other African beauty scratches in elementary school. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I got called a man because I had a slightly deeper voice in elementary school. I was called a bunch of racist names too, but I stood my ground. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, all of us were teased and called something, you know? Irving Hunt, thank you so much for the super chat. Says we never were taught that about Africans or Caribbeans either. It was never a discussion. I thought we all Black, right? I never knew what they thought till recent years. Irvin, same. That's what I'm saying. Nobody spoke. We weren't raised and taught, oh, don't like Africans, don't like Caribbeans, don't like anybody. We were never taught that. Most Black Americans were not taught to be racist against anybody. That was not a part of the conversation for us. But we talk about what's being taught at home, how you were raised, what values and morals were instilled in you, whatever was being taught to you. And that just wasn't taught to a majority of Black American people. We didn't grow up with that with that being taught to us. But a lot of them were. That makes the difference. If you're taught to hate people for no reason, well, you're going to have a different idea of who those people are. It was never a conversation, never even came up. We didn't even talk about African, Caribbean, well, none of that. Because once again, you are right. We were looked at as just Black people. We didn't care. Thank you, Irvin. I appreciate you. But all of this seemed to have come from an idea of deporting these people who don't belong in this country. All of this started coming out from that. Yeah, and it's about war and hate. As a Black American, I've never even thought about Africans to hate them. Still don't. It was never a thought. We had our issues with white and Black. I'm telling you. Issues were with white and Black. It wasn't about nobody else. So how is this? I don't understand. Y'all. That's all I'm saying. It was an issue with white and Black. That was the mainstream issues in we weren't around that many other people. It was white and Black. Black women and Black people worked for white folks in their homes. There wasn't a majority of Black people who went and worked for Latinos or worked for Black Africans and things of that nature. No, it was white and Black. So now, how is it an issue with Black Americans and African? I never should have been an issue. Not on our part, because it wasn't even an issue. We didn't even, it wasn't an issue. We weren't taught about it. We didn't even speak of it. That's why I was shocked. Johnny Harris says Christ said we would be hated in his name. Baby, child. We seen it happening because I just don't get it. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate you. So yeah, that's just my point. I think this shouldn't even be an issue, but it is. C. Urban says, no lies detected, DeeDee. The African guys here try to act and dress American to get women, baby. But they tell me Africa is the best, child. That's you know that everybody want to bite American style, but you don't want to be us. What? It's crazy. They gotta stop it. Thank you, C. Irvin. I appreciate you, bro. It needs to stop. It shouldn't even. It shouldn't even be happening. And this is why I think as American Blacks, we really do need to start to really. But I don't know. I've seen, when it comes to this issue, I do think as American Black people, we all on the same page when it comes to this. So we tend to come together with certain issues, but certain issues we can't. When it comes to issues with us and others, seem like we can all get on the same page. When it comes to issues with us within our own community, helping each other and changing it, that's where we had a problem, which is crazy. When it comes to other people, we all band together. But when it comes to us within the community, checking the wrong within our community with us, with each other, somehow we can't get on the same page, which is crazy to me. But yeah. This is it's very interesting, y'all. And yeah, it's just, it's just interesting to see all of this coming out. I mean, I saw that other guy, like he was going in on Black Americans. We don't have any culture and we don't have this and we don't have that. And I don't think he was wearing his African garb or his way he wasn't wearing that. He wasn't even in this country either, but he wasn't wearing the attire that they have. Like he looked like an American to me, the way he was dressed. So, it is what it is. But it's not even our fight. I don't even think. I think they're raising concern where it's not even really a concern for us. Once again, from what the lady was saying about war, there's never going to be a war with Africans and Americans. Like, come on, remember, we are Americans. And, the things that it's not like, even though, and I think they believe it's a divide between Black people and white people, because, everybody want to be white for the most part. But when they talk about Black Americans and Africans, they think that as Africans, y'all going to raise some kind of war, and it's not going to be, that would be a war against Africans and Americans. Because the what you would be saying is you're coming for, I guess, the rights of Americans that is not just Black Americans. There's no separate laws for white American society and Black American society, even though there may be different treatment or different outcomes depending on, versus a white and a Black person in many cases. The laws are still the same, and you can still fight the laws because they're the same. There's no difference. So if you're saying you're going to come, she said something about fight against laws or vote, not laws. She said elections. Okay, what are you going to do? You can't stop people from voting. You have no power when it comes to legislation and laws in reference to voting, and you don't have no power. You don't have no power. And contrary to what she was saying, I'm gonna say it again, y'all do not outnumber Black Americans. And you got to understand, as Americans will come together if they think that, and no shade, but Americans will come together versus when it comes to immigrants who are trying to do something that will negatively impact. You can't, it's not that cut and dry. And I just don't understand it. And for what? People have a right to protest. If they don't like a certain business or quality, they can do it. And if they don't want to patronize that business, they don't have to. And if for some reason, these protests become successful, you can't do anything about it. You would have to change your business practices. And this is the thing, when you have a business in America, you got to understand, you might not want to cause any controversy in this country when it comes to when you are a person who are operating a business. And if y'all haven't learned, you better pay attention. When these, and it is a different world these days. I say it, with social media, you will mess up your whole situation if you say the wrong things, because it's that easy. Your business could be shut down. That lady, there's so many examples, and you're not exempt. There are so many examples of people losing their businesses and losing money because of the things they said. This is why when it comes to business, you should be quiet and just run your business. And you want to try to run the best operation possible, because if you are operating in a faulty manner, or you are causing controversy within your business and most people don't like it, it's going to show negatively in your business. And I don't understand why. Look, I remember back in the day, people look, there were companies that were racist, but they wouldn't let you know. They would hide the fact that they didn't like black people, that they were racist, because they knew that would affect their bottom line. If you start saying things or doing things negatively toward black people, and they spoke out, or anybody, then and now with social media too, and you do something like that where people can record and post you all over the world in minutes, and then people responding, and people can go and put bad reviews and call you out. That nobody wants that, who's trying to thrive and have a successful business. You got to understand, when you operate in any type of business format, you got to be careful what you put out there, because in this country, people have a right to speak about their experiences, and it's nothing you can do. And if they don't shop in your business, you lose money, there's nothing you can do but change your mentality and change how you put yourself out there. Because once you're out there in a negative way, that's it. I've seen so many businesses fail because of it. And they didn't realize they were operating in that old mindset. But it's a new world. You got to be very careful what you put out there, because it may affect your business in a huge way. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's really nothing. Johnny Harris, thank you for the super chat, says, if they hate us so bad, they need to stop using AC, toilet paper, toilet, light bulbs, home alarm systems, etc. Right. It just don't make no sense, Johnny. It really doesn't. Thank you for the super chat. It really don't. And they really need to be careful. You know, you don't realize, once again, if you try to say, oh, black people, be careful. No, baby. Y'all don't understand the power of the black dollar. If you, if you ain't getting that black dollar as it is, I mean, maybe you ain't got nothing to lose. But I mean, come on now. If you want it, then you really got to be careful. You got to be careful, because, black people can make or break your business, to be honest with you. Because all of these women who are complaining about these African braided salons are American black women. And that would probably become more of your demographic. So if you piss them off and they start, because there are lots of black women who do braids, and they start going to them, then y'all gonna be asked out. Who else white people ain't coming to your business. Asian and Indian people ain't coming to get their hair done at your shops. So it is the black American women that you depend on for your business for the most part. So if you alienate them, okay, what? You're gonna lose a lot of money. I'm just saying. You're gonna lose a lot of money. Zookeeper says, I think all groups play the role at work and in public, but have divided loyalties and hidden agendas. Some are conscious about it, while others are copycats and vampires feeding at your lifestyle. I get it. Yep. Thank you for the super chat, Zookeeper. I appreciate you. Yeah, you got a very good point there. So, and this is why I say, listen, this threatening sound like, oh, you better be careful. Child, that don't hold no weight. That don't hold not a bit of weight. It really don't. If anything, it's going to mess with your business if you're not careful. And I've been seeing too many videos of black American women saying, never again. I ain't going back to them. I told you I went once and I ain't never been back. And that's been years ago. And most people I know don't even patronize African businesses. I'm just saying. So I don't know, child. Y'all better, it seems like you got to watch what you say and make sure you can keep your business. You will want to keep your loyal clients and make sure that your business continue to run, because I'm pretty sure that is the majority of people who are patronizing those braid shops. I'm just saying, because black women get braids all the time. Thank you, Zookeeper. Okay. So I want to move on from that. That wore me out a little bit. Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah. Somebody say, where are your grandparents from? Where are your grandparents? My grandparents are from here. My grandparents are from the USA. My great grandparents are from the USA too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, I don't know. Yeah. My great grandparents are from here too. Oh, thank you. I just was saying, because yes, sir. Okay, gotcha. But I'm saying, like, they tend to ask that question, like, and I'm glad you brought that up, yes, sir, because I hear a lot of Africans saying, "Oh, we cannot trace our people and this and all that kind of stuff." I'm like, and last video, people were chiming in and saying they can trace their ancestors from the 1800s from here. So I don't know where they get that from. That's another thing that they bring up that they're not too familiar with, and I think that's interesting. It's interesting. I get you. My ancestors got 8 generations I can trace to the 1700s. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I think it's just miscommunication, y'all. I think it's a miscommunication. They don't really know the history. They don't really know what they're talking about. That goes back to this thing that mind boggled me before that I talked about, how a lot of Latinos thought, yes, I'm from New Orleans. A lot of Latinos thought we were immigrants. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Something ain't right. That shows you a lot of people don't know the history of Black Americans. They really don't. And they were pissed and mad. And honestly, a lot of them, they thought when Donald Trump said, oh, we're going to get rid of the immigrants and we're going to take this country back, they thought that meant, oh, they're white and they're going to stay and all the Black people going to be out of here, child. They bought into that racist idea and thought, oh, we're going to get rid of all the niggas and, all of us, because we're considered white. So we're going to be here. And then I will vote for Donald Trump, and then they all got deported. It was like crying, and I'm child. It's just I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. It's a lot. A lot of them don't have birth certificates, and they have January 1st birthdays because of that. I'm sorry. Oh shit. Oh my god. Who said that? Damn. All right. Oh Lord have mercy. I don't know, that made me chuckle, y'all. Y'all funny as hell. Oh Lord. That person said a lot of them don't have birth certificates and they all have January 1st. All right, y'all. We're gonna move on.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. That made me laugh. I don't look, y'all trip. Y'all funny as hell. But hey, it is what it is. Oh Lord. Oh my God. Y'all crazy as y'all batshit crazy. But it's true. It's true. Okay. Look, I told y'all, look, educate me, baby. Listen, I truly mind my business. I ain't gonna lie. In the real world, oh baby, I mind my business. I don't be fooling with people. I got that. Yeah, that's why I had a big family. I got enough people that I could that I gotta worry about. I got enough people that I gotta worry about, baby. I'm in my own little bubble. And this is why this outlet is good for me, because I get to, venture out and, and I see things, don't get me wrong, but I mind my business. Honestly, I mind my business. I deal with my family and my people, and, I support, I've supported Black businesses. I've promoted and what's the word I'm looking for? I just said it. Y'all threw me off with that. Shit. I promoted Black businesses, especially women, female and look, people be like, oh, but you hate women. No, I don't. I promoted and patronized a lot of Black female-owned businesses, you know, and especially when I was doing, which I'm thinking about getting back into, by the way, especially when I was doing beauty content and promoting products, and I've supported and purchased many Black women's Black-owned, well, you know, because is it really Black-owned? Some of it is, a lot of it's not, but they're the figureheads for it. But even still, they're promoting it. They're promoting the product. I've purchased lots of products owned by Black women and promoted by Black women, because I think it's important. You know what I'm saying? Because if I was, you know, promoting something that I thought was a good product for us, by us, I would want them to support. And I always think about it in that way. So I've done my fair share of promoting and supporting Black women when it comes to their businesses. I've done it for years. So it's not like, you know, I haven't done it. I have done it, and I will continue to do it. It's just, you know, but it doesn't mean that I can't still look at the hypocrisy in our communities and try to put things out there or speak on things where we can improve. Because I think a lot of us, I think Black people are innovative. I think we're very creative, and we have been, and it shows by the things that we've created. They like to point out, oh, Black people don't own anything. Why? I mean, there's a history behind that as well. But it doesn't mean that we can't. And this is why the divide is so necessary, because as long as we're divided, we fall short. You know, what's that saying? United we stand, divided we fall. And I think the powers that be know that. It's a real thing. But yeah. So it's just crazy, y'all. But anyway, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please make sure you are hitting the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I'm going to move on. We're going to move on from this. Thank y'all so much for chiming in and giving y'all thoughts and stuff. I see y'all in the chat. I appreciate you. 387 watching, only 293 likes. Hit the like button, y'all. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button, hit the like. We're going to move on from this, y'all. I got several videos coming out about these topics, so make sure you watch those videos and support those videos as well, y'all. Let's move on. I want to move on to this clip of this woman. I saw this on Crimson Cure channel, actually, and I saw it on TikTok, where this woman says men are dangerous, right? And I think this stemmed from a man asking why Black women don't speak or something like to that nature. And she went off. And I want to give my thoughts on this, and I want to know your thoughts. How do you feel about when you're out in public and you're speaking? You speak to a Black woman, you speak. And see, this is why this whole African versus Americans is crazy, because guess what? We got our own issues that we still got to figure out. We got our own issues in this country amongst Americans. We got our own issues within our culture among Black people. We don't really have the time to be trying to deal with somebody else's feelings and people coming into this country and how they think of us. We got our own issues amongst us. So that's what we should be focused on, to be honest with you. What we got to fix within our own group of individuals. We ain't got time to be worried about other people. They need to be focused on their people and how they need to get their stuff together. And we need to be focused on ours, in my opinion. But listen to this. I want to get y'all thoughts on it. Here we go.
I'm gonna make this video with no goddamn edits. If you are a Black man, do not get online. Do not go out in public and ask us as Black women why we will not speak to y'all. I'm not gonna even cut this video. Okay, so here's the thing. Y'all are a mutation gene of us, and you have forgotten your fucking position. And then you're looking for your way back to your mama, right? And you riding through the matrix, the my tricks and my and her tricks, and you getting caught up in her web. You're in this system of patriarchy where you think that you're running shit, and y'all are very dangerous. Y'all have become very dangerous through this false sense of superiority and power that you think you have over the Black woman. That's why we're not speaking. Y'all
Okay, let me ask y'all a question. Do you think that men believe that they have a certain power over black women? Yes or no? In the chat. Yes or no? Is it the desire for men in general to have I'm gonna say black men, because if let's just stick to black men. If do you think that black men, do you guys have the desire to have complete control over women? Yes or no? If it is your thing, it's your thing. I ain't mad at it. I'm just asking. To just have complete control over women, black men. Do y'all want to just control a black woman? Y'all just want to, y'all think y'all superior to black women? So I see a bunch of no's. Jamil 843 says nobody walking up to her looking like them. Oh, there y'all go. There y'all go. I ain't even get to that point yet because it was coming. Thank you, Jamil. Child, y'all a mess. Y'all are a mess, child. Okay, I ain't even addressed that, but most men would say no. Most men ain't just out here trying to. Now, you want to lead your household as a man, you should, with your family, your wife, your whoever. But just sitting there and say, we want to control y'all and tell y'all what. No. I don't believe that is the mindset of most men. Now, however, I do think that is a mindset of some men. I would necessarily say, I'm saying some. I'm just say some. But most men in general, I don't think that's their mindset. I don't think that's what they're trying to do. But let women tell it that that's what it is. But let's continue, child.
Y'all are weird. And when I say weird, I mean y'all are wired different. Y'all are wired to a degree of entitlement, right? Y'all are very entitled. So once you go, hey, how you doing? And we say, hey, good, how you doing? We are expecting that it's just a hey, how you doing, period, point blank. After that, y'all follow up with trying to holler. It's not that the hollering is a problem, because some women may want that. I don't even like men enough for that.
Are y'all surprised?
Girl, listen, and no shade once again. We could tell by your rough talking that you probably didn't like men. We could tell you're so masculine and aggressive. We could tell you don't like men. So we could see. We peeped that. And because usually women who don't like men, they talk like that and they be so mad. Like, why are you so pissed? What's going on in your life? Like, goddamn, if a man speak to you in public, hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, how you doing? And that's it. If he's speaking because he's looking at you and he thinks you are attractive, and he follow up with, hey, listen, whatever. Okay, I'm listening. If he's somebody that you're not interested in, you could either say, you know what, I'm not interested. I appreciate, thank you, but no, I'm not interested. Or I got a man, or whatever your response is. Now, and that should be the end of that. He should keep it moving and you keep it moving. Now, if for some reason he follows you okay, now that's a different story. That would be creepy. But that doesn't seem like what they're saying. They're just saying that a lot of, Kevin Samuels had this conversation about black women all booted up and you don't even know how to smile. Even if a person smile at you, and just say hi, you looking like, what's wrong with you? Like y'all have the attitudes most of the time. Somebody just speaking, you can't speak back, is always met with an attitude or a problem. I even saw a video of this white woman saying she's tired that black women are trying to, tell her she shouldn't be smiling at them and she shouldn't be doing. I'm like, yeah, come on now, y'all taking that too far. Irvin Hunt says Aries Spears here saying men want to control women, not her. She do look like Aries Spears. Why do masculine women always look like a man? Some man. There's that other lady. They said she looked like that comedian. I can't think of his name. She used to have that ring around her. No, not the one with the ring around her mouth. There's another one where she was saying a man should do all this stuff for her. People came for her. I don't even see her on the internet anymore. And she looked like that comedian. I forget his name, child. But she looked just like him. Something, I forget his name. Wallace. What's that comedian with the Wallace is in his name? Thank you, Irvin. I appreciate you. She looked like him. And I don't even see that lady on social media anymore. But yeah, all the masculine looking ones look like some type of man. Divine Photos, hey, what's going on? How are you? People need to start hearing how they sound. Imagine a man ranting how he don't like women and women want control. Women and men would say the man is rainbow. Right. But with this lady here, she said, she don't really like men anyway. So why thank you, Divine Photos. I appreciate you. Why women feel the need to come on social media and talk about a man trying to speak? Did the man try to follow you and do something to you or what? Or he just was speaking and just was as a matter of fact, the man did make a video. This man, I don't have the video, but he did make a video about how Black women just don't speak. He just, like he said, it's just, if somebody speak to you, it's just a courteous thing to speak back. Hell, me and my husband went I had a doctor's appointment the other day. My husband we both were there. He walks in, hello, everybody. He speaks to everybody and everybody said, hello, how you doing? That's it. It's just a courteous thing. And a lot of these women don't understand courtesy. They just think somebody trying to holler at you. But then, I don't know. I don't know. Let's continue.
The issue is that you don't know how to take no for an answer. Y'all become violent. So now we feel like we're in danger.
Now, did a man speak to you and become violent? I would like to know if he did every encounter you've had with him, because women say they generalize these things, but has this happened to you? Have you come in contact with a multitude of men who was speaking to you, and then if you didn't speak back, they became violent? Where's the police report then? If you've had all these encounters with men who were violent to you because you didn't want to speak back, shouldn't you go and file a police report? If they're becoming violent, where's the police report? Not saying that it doesn't happen, but I think because they know that it could potentially be something that happened, or maybe it's happened, they make it seem like it's happening to them all the time. Johnny Harris, thank you for the super chat, says, where's her mustache? Thank you for the super chat, Johnny. I ain't answering that. I don't know. Let's continue.
So instantly, if I'm saying no, I'm not interested, because that's usually what comes about. And you can even tell by the passion and a little bit of the anger that's within that, how I'm speaking, where it's at. Go look at the statistics and see why we don't speak nowadays. Because I'm the type of person, I like to speak. I like the randomness when people just speak and we don't know each other. We're supposed to be able to lift our heads up and down at each other and say, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? You see another brother or kindred, kinfolk, you're supposed to be able to speak. Whether man or woman, it doesn't matter. We should be able to speak to each other. But the pattern I notice with Black men is that they say, hey, you say hey back as a Black woman, and then they try to holler at you. And when you say, no, I'm not interested, or I do not like men, they get mad and you all type of names in a book that don't even exist in the dictionary. They calling you everything else but the queen and the primador and the goddess of the earth. They call you everything else but that all of a sudden because you got no. Y'all are too fucking entitled. Y'all are nasty. Y'all are dirty. Look at that. I was about to say dingy and dirty at the same. Y'all are nasty, dingy, and dirty. Y'all are violent when you don't get what you want. And the whole time you're throwing a fit because you don't know where your mama at no more. May you return to the waters from whence you came and learn your fucking position.
Now, what would be their position? And the very thing that she's complaining about, she's doing herself. So she's claiming that when she tells the men no, that now you become everything in the book, but so does that mean that you give the same energy? Like, so when you're saying, you're telling them what they shouldn't be doing, but then you're responding in the same way that you're complaining about. You're saying, you're calling them dingy, dirty, and all this. Was the man dingy and dirty? Because I mean, if he wasn't dingy and dirty, why call him dingy and dirty? He could have been nice looking. He could have been clean. But you're gonna make up some shit and say he was dingy and dirty because you're claiming that he called you every name in the book because you said no, and because you don't like his response. Now he's dingy, dirty. He's every name in the book as well. So this is why I say a lot of women pattern behind the men they complain about. A lot of women pattern behind the men they complain about. To me, it doesn't make any sense to complain about something if you're going to turn around and do the exact same thing. That makes you no better than him. And the way she comes across, it shows this masculine negative energy. And if that's what men are giving, why are you matching that when you're saying that they have a problem? That would mean that you have a problem too. That means y'all come from the same background. That means whatever single mother raised you probably raised him as well. So you're no different from him. You don't like what he's doing, and I bet somebody don't like what you're doing. So how are y'all different? This goes back to how women point out men, but you don't point out your behavior. When y'all behavior is matching, y'all are matching energies. Instead of, if that is in case, the fact that a man, he spoke to you and you spoke back, and then he tried to pursue you and you said, no, thank you, I'm not interested. I got a man, or I'm not interested in men, or whatever. Because we clearly see maybe she's not interested in men because she don't like them that much. So we've got to assume she don't like men. Oh, no, I'm not interested in men. And then somehow he started calling you all kind of names. And if that is the case, you're supposed to remove yourself like a lady would do. Because I know I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with a grown man in public who's berating me just because I said no. I'm going to, and see, that wouldn't happen because I'm usually with my husband, see. And I've never had that experience because my husband is there now. You going to try with me, or you going to try with him? So I don't have that experience. I've never had that experience. So, but what I'm saying is, if you're out here by your lonesome and a man speaks to you and you decline, and then he just started calling you all kind of black bees and all kind of names, everything you could think of under the sun. And what do? You start going back and forth with him and cussing him out back? Or do you remove yourself and call the authorities? Because as a lady who doesn't go toe to toe with men who are ignorant in that way, because I'm pretty sure that exists and there are men out there who act like that. I'll give you that. But I just don't think it's the arching majority of men. And I don't think, especially in no shade, I don't think that she's getting that much of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that her personally, that she's getting all of that backlash to that degree. Now, maybe she's had that experience. I'm not going to take away, because I know there are some crazy men out here who feel entitled. I do think it exists, but not to the extent that these women are pushing it. And this is not every black man. And I don't think that black men feel entitled to do that. I think some black men just don't have any respect for women, and they don't know how to talk to a woman, and they have these issues because they weren't raised properly. And the women who go toe to toe with these men and go cuss them out back, you weren't raised properly, and y'all are in the same boat. This is probably why there's some type of connection or interaction there, because he feels comfortable with approaching you in that manner because of something about you. And so if you are a lady who looks like a lady and you're presenting yourself in a respectful manner and you decline, and once again, if this person still takes it there, this is for you to go and call the authorities and let them know what's happening, or get some protection or somebody around you to handle that. But a lot of times they don't. They just go on social media and complain about it and make it seem like this is the nature of all men. All men weren't raised that way. There are men who are very respectable of women, and they understand that if they approach a woman and she says no, then okay, thank you, and they move on. That's every man is not just doing that. That's all I wanted to, to make it clear that is not the nature of all men. Irving Reed, thank you so much for the super chat, says our team batters always got something to say about how the rest of us do. They be big mad that black men see through the facade and try to holler. Mad because some men like Skittles. Laughing my A off. Bye, Afro Funky. Y'all crazy. Thank you, Irving Reed. I appreciate you once again for the super chat. Thank you. Cool more D. Y'all crazy, child. Zena says she looks like the type to get I mean, right. She looked like she'll square up. Like, nigga, what? I knock your ass out. You know how them women be like, they be real like masculine, baby. They be ready to fight a man with the quickness, not realizing that man could punch you one time and your ass be on the floor. Like, I ain't trying to square up with no man, girl. They be out here masculine and buff as a mother. They be ready to fight a man with the quickness, thinking they could beat him down. And then when they get knocked to the ground, they be crying and like, and puffing and mad. Like, nah, baby, no. Yeah, they do be looking. They'll try them. They'll try a man for real. She might fight men. I mean, shit. You're probably right. Thank you, Zenit. I appreciate you for the super chat. Child, I wouldn't be out here fighting no damn man. Johnny, thank you for the super chat. Says he's dingy and dirty because he got a construction job. You know what, Johnny? The man probably he probably didn't look dingy and dirty. They just say that to insult the person because you don't like their actions. But you know, they probably match energies. You know, if he looked dingy and dirty, I mean, maybe she looked dingy and dirty to him. That's why he felt he could approach her that way. I'm just saying, you know, a lot of these energies are matching. Thank you, Johnny, for the super chat. Let's continue with see what else she's saying.
That's what you need to focus on. Figuring out when the fuck did you come about? Why are you and your brother so disrespectful to the mama nowadays? Why are we where we are? Ask the right shit if you're going to ask me something. Don't ask me how I'm doing. Ask me how I'm feeling. So I can tell you I feel like you need to get the fuck out my face. Do you see where we at now with y'all? That's why we don't say hey back. Because it's always something to follow up. Then y'all want to get weird and follow people around the corner and shit. Like, women walking around with Glocks and shit now. Like, we gangsters. Like, do you understand the position? Go look at the statistics. Don't talk to us about it. Go talk to your brothers. You coming out of isolation or you got from being locked up? You were just being locked. Which one? Because that's what it's. I'm just trying to understand. You got charges or something? Because you weird coming up on this app asking this shit. I'm done with this video. I don't got nothing else to say. This shit, I'm gaslighting myself.
Yeah. You know, and I just want to say, look, some men may act that way, but that is not all. And, you know, she just said it, women are gangster with Glocks and stuff like that. And it was right to assume that she probably fight men and things of that nature. And the energy you give is the energy you get. I remember being a younger woman and, you know, I've had guys approach me or whatever. And I wasn't interested, and I would say that. And, you know, I could say maybe one occasion where a guy was like, you know, I don't know what he said. He said something slick, but it wasn't nothing too crazy. But, you know, I wasn't waiting around to see. Kept it moving. You know what I'm saying? But I can't sit here and say that has been the majority of my experience. It's not even the least bit. I have not had that negative experience to the tune of the way these women are talking about it. You know what I mean? I've had guys approach me and I declined and they kept it moving. So I can't sit here and lie and say, oh, a majority of guys approached me, they just were rude and cussed me out. No, I can't say that. That's not my experience. And I'm not saying that it's not their experience, but what I am saying is just speak on your experience with specific situations and stop trying to generalize it, because that's important. You can't make it seem like this is Black men in general when it's not. And all of us as Black women don't have the same experiences. I don't have that experience where I can say, oh my God, all these Black men, every time I deny them, they just cuss me out and tell me to, no. So that means that's not all Black men. I will give you specific scenarios of if that was the case or not, but it's not, I'm not going to sit here and say, this is just what Black men do. This is where we are. No, y'all are aggressive a lot of times for no reason. The same reason why a lot of Black women won't smile, because you think it's inviting some type of negativity. But not understanding that when you are, you know, and maybe some of these women are this way with good reason. I'm not going to take that away from them. Maybe you are that way from your experiences and it made you that way. That could be a thing too. But I just want people to be honest and say that, hey, you know, I'm this way because it's X, Y, Z. If you don't think you owe people that explanation, well, you shouldn't come on and make these generalizations then, because that's putting a bunch of people, grouping everybody together when I don't think that's fair to do. Just like you don't want men to group all women in the same position and call all y'all hoes and masculine, entitled, women. You don't want every man to put all of y'all in one category and say all y'all ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You want to, if you know you are of some substance and you have some things going on and you're not like everybody else, you wouldn't feel comfortable with men just lumping you all into one group. So I think we got to start being a little bit more honest and just state your experiences. And if you can explain why you think the way you think based off of the experience, I can understand that. But if you just come on here saying, all these niggas ain't shit and they did this and all of them would do this, nah, that's not fair, in my opinion. Moving right along, I want to play this clip for y'all as well to get y'all thoughts. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. We got, okay, thank y'all. The likes are up. Thank you so much for the likes. Jamil 843 says, bad energy from past lovers. Pookie stays with them. I agree. I do. I think they're bitter from their experiences and they're just putting it all on every man now. So, all y'all gonna get this work is what they're saying because of what Pookie did them in the past. So Pookie messed them up, made them bitter and mad. All y'all gonna get this work. All y'all ain't ish.
All y'all ain't ish.
That's what they saying, So we're gonna lump the good, the bad, the ugly all in one group and we don't care. So yeah, I believe Pookie is always with him because he messed them over. He did them dirty and they can't let it go. Thank you, Jamil. Listen to this.
Only thing Gucci got to do is shower. He don't got to do nothing else. I do everything for that man, but not because I have to do it. I want to. I enjoy taking care of him. I enjoy him just being happy and going to the studio and doing music. I don't want him to worry about the bills, worry about what he got to eat, worry about nothing. That man, all he got to do is bathe child and go do his shows. Go to the studio. That is it. The wife takes care of everything else, and I love doing it. And if I don't do it, I would be miserable.
Why do you think you'd be miserable?
Because I want to take care of my man. I don't want nobody else to do it. I want you to pay so-and-so to do this. A chef, I cook for him. I buy his clothes. I do everything. And I want to keep the money at home.
Baby!
I want to keep the money in the bank.
Yes.
I invest. I do great investments. So it's like, the thing is, when you have a man, you want that man to need you, not want you. And Gucci needs me. He can't function without me. And that's what you want in a relationship.
What do you guys think of that? She's not just that end part, but in general. Because I know we could take certain parts and we run with it. But I want to know your thoughts on everything that she said. Not just the part of wanting him to need her. She said he needs her. He don't just want her. He needs her. He can't function without her. Do y'all think that that's healthy? But besides that, what do you think about what she's saying? There were some women who did not like what she was saying, and there were some who agree with her. But the first point that I heard a lot of women make is the fact that, the Gucci, look who he is. Oh, because he has money and he takes care of all the bills. So that's why she's that way. No, I don't think so. I think she's that way because that's the way she is. She wants to take care of him. If he's taking care of her, she takes care of him. So I think women only look at it from an aspect of, he's probably not stressing her out. Now I heard another woman say that Gucci used to mess over her, allegedly. I heard another woman say he was dogging her out at first. And then I guess, him going to jail and she held him down from jail. And then next thing you know, they was married and they had some kids because she had kids before him. And I think they had some together. But she seems to have been the consistent woman in his life. And he realized that. And that's the one that he married. And I guess he realized the importance of her and the things that she offered. But see, far too many women don't like what she's saying because a lot of these women don't want to do that. That she said all he has to do is what she said. He don't have to just take a shower. He don't have to worry about nothing else, child. And she got everything else covered. A lot of these women don't want to do anything in a relationship. They just want you to bring the kit in the caboodle. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to do anything. They want you to do it all, and they want to sit back and just be a passenger princess. They don't want to do anything. So anytime you hear any woman speaking on what she does for her man, these women have a problem. They fall out because they're like, oh my God, you're setting us back 50 years. You making them think we supposed to be doing shit. You putting it in their minds that we got to be doing something. No, make them think we supposed to be the princesses and we're the prize and we don't have to do nothing. Let them know, oh my God, they got to do everything because we were the prize. But anytime you hear a woman saying what she does for a man, these women lose their mind. Oh, you're setting us back 100 years. you know? Or I just started Lachey. I just want to read Black immigrants, 10%, FBA 90%. Girl, please. She's still on the SBA thing. I know that's right. Right. So I don't know, that goes back to the immigrant thing. Child, know what they be talking about, but I appreciate that comment. Look like she in her 20s. White women, you got to get them at 19, 20. FBA women look 20 at 30. Oh, wow. It's because he has money and she can be replaced. Maybe, but listen, yeah, I mean, it's just, there are a lot of men out here who are able to, who have good jobs and they're not rich, but they're able to pay for all the bills. But to me, I just think that you have to have a understanding woman, a woman who's not, and I like one thing that she did say, Keisha Kaur, she said is she want to keep the money in the bank. She has a vested interest to help him out in that area and not just take. She sounds, from what she's saying, it sounds like she's more interested in doing things that will help the money grow. She says she made good investments. She's not she does everything in the household is what she's saying. She's not looking to spend money for nannies and caterers and cooks and cleaners and all these things. See, a lot of the women who don't really care about the person, they don't care if they spend all your money. That's the difference. They don't care if they spend all your money, as long as they're getting what they want. To me, the woman who cares, she's going to try to find ways for you to save money. She's not going to just be like, oh, spend it on this, spend it on that. She's not going to try to get you to just because you got it. She's not going to just want you to just blow it like that. The ones who don't give a damn, they don't care what you spend the money on. They're going to just be getting, taking until they can't take no more. This is why I always say the woman who's more, interested in you, she's not going to want you to spend all this money on frivolous things. She's not going to want you to spend all your money on things that don't make sense, because she's concerned and she understands that, hey, if we're going to be together, we need to have a future. We need to build. I don't want him just spending his money on a $500,000 ring. A ring. Or I don't want this extravagant wedding that's going to cost too much. That's going to set us back, because if we're going to be together, we got to have this money for our future. The chicks that don't give a damn, they don't care about no future. They want what they want right now, because this might be the only opportunity to get it. And if you can't give it to them, they on to the next. That's a big red flag that you will notice. This is why I say when you meet a woman, you should not know what she's about in the beginning, because she's gonna let you know. And if you ignore that, that's on you. Because these gold diggers, they're gonna let you know that they trying to strike gold and they want you to give it to them. And if you ain't willing to do it, they that's all they care about. So yeah, a lot of the men are moving on because they recognize what these women are after, y'all. And they realize that they're only out here to try to finesse somebody and get what they want and keep it moving. So these men aren't giving them the benefit of the doubt. They're not letting them take advantage of them like that. And I think that's a great thing that men realize this and moving on. And hopefully you can find love and build a family somewhere else. Or hopefully, there are still some Black good women out here who understand the program and not trying to use men and really want to establish good relationships. Hopefully you can find a good woman out here that you can build a family with. But we see so many of the opposite till it's just hard to distinguish between who's right and who's not. And then a lot of chameleons out here faking the funk, making you think that they're all this great woman and they're really not. So it's just difficult. And I understand how men are moving. I get it. Yeah. Kashmir says, right. She has to be a woman of purpose and knows how to handle finances. Exactly. Yeah, not somebody who's just willing to spend money willy-nilly. And the woman who was talking about this was who's responding to this was saying, oh, she, because it's Gucci had money. No, but he can have money all day. But if she's just there trying to spend it up, thinking that money grow on trees, that's not beneficial. It has to be a woman who understands purpose and values and growth and money and her man, and there for the right reasons. And based on how she's speaking and he's still with her, she's probably a good woman. I mean, regardless of what people may think, she's there for him. She's doing the right things, because otherwise he could have easily let her go. He could have easily let her go and moved on to somebody else, but he chose to marry her because he realized what he got. Because too many other women ain't gonna be there for you and handle things that way. They're gonna be there just trying to take everything you got, just you run with what you got, take you to the cleaners, and move on. So once again, I'll say women who really have, your best interest at heart, they're not going to be out here trying. They wouldn't want to go to these expensive restaurants. It's just a meal. They know that the future can be so much brighter if y'all are together. They understand the purpose and what a relationship is supposed to be built upon. They're not out here trying to just go, I need you to buy me this, and I need you to do this, and give me some Gucci, and give me some Louis Vuitton. Prove to me that you're this. And girl, ain't nobody trying to do that shit. These men ain't got to prove nothing to you. If anything, you got to prove your loyalty, because there's more of y'all out here who are ratchet than men that's available. So you got to prove and distinguish between the hood rats and the real. And if you don't want to do that, these men don't have to do jack shit. They don't. See, that's the thing. And I think women have been so accustomed to men running behind them and thinking that men, going to lose their minds if they don't get what you know. These men are content. They ain't losing their minds. They're going to work and living their life. They're not running behind y'all. They're not making y'all the priority. And that's the part y'all don't like, because as long as you had simping men running behind you, thinking that they needed you and you were so beautiful and they couldn't live without you, y'all love that, because y'all could use that to your advantage. But now that men are saying, I ain't worth it. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. That's how y'all say it. They're like, child, I got more shit to be focused on. I got more things I need to be focused on. I'm trying to build my dope, my cash up. I'm trying to work. I ain't got time. I don't want to lose my resources running behind these types of chicks. They ain't worth it, because they ain't real. They're not really trying to do things the right way. So what's the point? So they're not running. They're not chasing. They're not doing none of that y'all wishing they would do. They're not obsessing over you. They don't see the point. They don't think it's worth. They don't think any of y'all are worth it. So if you are different from the fray, if you are not that type of woman, you got to prove yourself now. And this is the part that they're having a hard time with. They don't feel they have to do that. They think, but either you do it or you just, I choose to be single. No, you don't choose, because these men ain't checking for you. These men don't want you and y'all bad attitude and all these BBL want the BBLs. We got a BBL epidemic. They don't want all this fake stuff. They've been said it. They've been saying they don't want all the fake stuff, and y'all keep running to the fake stuff thinking that somehow it's going to get you a millionaire. The damn millionaires don't want all this fake stuff. And just because you see one or two of them with a woman who kind of looks like that, well, because she has some other qualities that you probably don't want to prove or show that you have. Your BBL and your bust down lace front is not enough. That's not enough. You got to prove that you are the type of woman that these men are looking for. And if you can't do that, they don't see you from the rest. They don't see you as anything different. So yeah, you got to prove yourself as a woman. There's too many hoes out here, and everybody look the same. The hoes look the same as any other woman claiming she's a good woman. So how do they know how to distinguish you from the rest? You have to make yourself stand out. You have to distinguish yourself from the rest. And if you grew up in an era where you don't think that's what you're supposed to do, okay, well, you're going to be by yourself, because these men are not chasing. And they could think it's a social media thing all you want, but it's not just a social media thing. It's a real life thing. These men are not, they really are not chasing. And these women are left confused. Why aren't men chasing like they used to? Why aren't these men obsessed with us like they used to? These men are different. These men, oh my God, they're just not the same. Why are they so sassy?
Why are they so sassy? Why they don't chase us? Why they're not doing like the men back in the day? They're not spending no money on us. They're not doing this. Why? Y'all keep asking why, and these men are telling you why. You're just not ready for the answers. You're not ready for the outcome. You think you a bad bee, and they saying, no, you not. And we don't want no parts of these bad bee energies. We moving on, we cool. And if y'all don't want to be any different or do what we're asking you to do, which is simple, then we're going to keep it moving.
They're not ready for that. They're not really ready for the conversation and the outcome. Because you want to be you, do what you want to do, and you want them to accept you, and they're not. So y'all gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to prove yourself or just keep it moving. That's it. Mauricio 91, thank you for the super chat. Says, remember, gents, it's better to live on the pitch of your roof than in a big house with a quarrelsome woman. Dang. God damn. I wish I had that meme that says, God damn, that's where I need to come in at. It is better to live on the pitch of your roof than deal with a quarrelsome woman. And that's how they think. That's how men think. So if women are watching this, just listen to this comment. They would rather live on the pitch of their damn roof than deal with a woman with a combative attitude. So you got to get it together. Thank you, Mauricio. I appreciate you. Jamil says, get your approach game up, ladies. LOL. Yeah. I mean, you got to. Because if the men aren't approaching and they're moving in a different direction, if you really want one and you believe you're a real good woman, baby, you're going to have to let it be known. You're going to have to let it be known. I'm just saying. Thank you, Jamil. I appreciate you. Our sisters think we're being mean, but we're telling the truth. Right. Prime One. I agree. I don't think men are being, listen, I said it before. I think men aren't honest enough. And I think especially in this climate of dating, you got to be honest and you can't sugarcoat anything. You can't worry about how they think because y'all see how that's turned out. Men, to me, and we see it on Pop the Balloon shows and all these shows, the men can be very polite. I think a lot of, as much as they try to paint men out to be these mean creatures, a lot of men are very polite. Y'all let a lot of things slide. And I said it in a previous video, y'all got to stop doing that. You don't have to be mean because if that's not your character, that's just not who you are. You don't have to be mean and nasty, but you definitely can be honest and really say what it is. Because I think a lot of these women are the way they are. Partly it's because they haven't been told the truth, and it's been sugarcoated, and men have not been real honest with women in the name of you don't want to offend them or you trying to get some coochie out of them. Either one. And I think it's created a cycle of women who don't see themselves. And they really think that they can do anything because men have been polite and have dealt with it and have never really made it an issue. So now they're surprised and confused because now more men are vocal and men are saying what it is that they're looking for, what they want. And they're not some of them are not as polite with it. And some are just being honest about it. And women don't understand it. They don't understand because a lot of these women have been lied to. A lot of these men lie to women just to get in their pants. They want sex from them. So you're not going to tell them the truth because you don't want to offend them, with the hopes of getting what you want out of them. So they've been lied to, told the things that they wanted to hear. And now that the truth is coming out, now they're shocked and appalled and they can't believe it. So now, the truth has come to the light. You got to accept it. You got to make some changes and adjust, and hopefully you can get what you want. So I'm going to leave it here, you guys. I'm going to get out of here. Thank y'all so much for being here, though. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here, for giving your input, for chiming in. Shout out to everybody who supported your channel via Super Chat or Cash App. I appreciate you guys for that. That definitely helps the channel out. Shout out to everybody in the chat who gave their perspective, everybody who's watching, everybody who supports the channel. Make sure you are continuing to support the videos that are posted on the channel. You guys watch the videos, share and like them. That definitely helps the channel out overall. So hit the like button on your way out. I appreciate you guys once again. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. I hope you continue to enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I would definitely catch you guys in the next one really, really soon. Make sure you have that notification bell turned on so that you'll be notified when I go live again, right? Might be tomorrow. I ain't gonna say, but it might be. So keep that notification bell clicked on so you'll be notified when I do. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate you so much. Y'all be safe out here in the streets, and I will catch you in the next one. I love you. Bye.